cook your cares away. Worries for another day. Let the music play. Down with Royal Cooks.
Join us today as we make a really interesting twist on stir fry in this wonderful pear bake. So I've already got our minute rice, just any type of minute rice that you want to use. We actually bought a pre-flavored teriyaki flavored minute rice. I've got that going and steeping so that it gets good firmness to it. And now what we're going to do is start on our stir fry sauce. And actually, we're doing something different. We're actually using cola as a base, which will give it a really hearty sweetness, really bind to the vegetables. What we're going to do is cook it down for a little bit. And just a 12-ounce can is fine. And then I'm kind of a saucy person. I like a little bit more sauce, but we just want to get that, bring it up to a boil, and then bring it back down for a little simmer. And while we're waiting for that to go, I'm going to add just a couple shakes of coarse ground black pepper. Add in there. And like I said last show, we like our garlic, so we want a little bit of garlic in there because that'll go really good with the shrimp that we're going to add in later. And with all that sweetness, we want a little bit of a salty, kind of a Worcester, kind of a teriyaki flavor. And the Worcester that I used last time is also one of my favorites to use, especially to counteract sweetness. We're just going to put a couple of squirts of that in there. Boy, that is really fizzing. Now that we've brought the sauce up to a boil, we want to bring the heat down a little bit, recover our rice, firm up, and just give it a swish every once in a while until you get kind of a syrupy. And if you can't get it boiled down to where it's going to be thick enough, don't worry about it, because when you put it onto the vegetables and the shrimp, it's just going to thicken up along with cooking with them, and it'll also blend and soak into all your vegetables, and hopefully to the shrimp too, it should. So we'll come back with Carly when we add our sauce and vegetables and shrimp all together and make it a stir fry.
And now we're going to start cooking our vegetables to put into our stir fry. I have our skillet going here on about 350, and I'm just going to add a little bit of vegetable oil. You can use any kind of oil you want, extra virgin, whatever you prefer. And we're just going to let that heat up a little bit. Set this down. And then once that gets going really good, we're going to put our vegetables in there. We're just using a regular thing of frozen vegetables this time. You know, it's whatever is about the easiest thing. You know, some people don't have a lot of time to cook. Sometimes it's easier to get this. And we're just about whatever is making things simple with our show. So we are going to add that to our oil and let that cook. And I am going to cut up some onion. And we're just going to do a rough chop on this so we have some good thick onions to go in there. And I'd say this is probably, it's about a quarter of an onion. So, we got that chopped up. That's just a nice rough chop. We'll go ahead and we'll throw that in there, and that'll give these frozen vegetables a really good flavor. It'll help just bring everything out. Kind of break it all up. They stick together a little. We are going to let this cook down actually, just a little bit. Oh yeah, this looks and smells great.
Oh honey, yeah it does. Okay, I'm just going to drizzle this over all the vegetables so that we can get a good steam going. And that'll help cook the rest of that all the way down.
And we are just going to let that boil for a while and cook with our vegetables. They got a nice sear on them and nice crisp with the vegetable oil. So
Just a
now,
good slow simmer. We actually started out at 350 and we'll probably bring it down to about 300 so it can just simmer. While we're waiting for our stir-fried to caramelize and all the flavors to meld together before we add the shrimp, we're going to work on a dessert today. A real simple dessert. I did this earlier this summer when our neighbor had a bunch of leftover apples, and I thought this would be a really good way to use just some generic canned pears, because I love pears too. Fresh vegetables and fresh fruits, always better. So if you got an abundance of apples, this will work great. Helps you get rid of them. It's kind of a quick apple crisp, but today it's going to be a pear crisp. We're just using some canned sliced pears, and basically we're just going to dump those right into our pie pan. We don't want to use all the juice. Drain about half of the juice off and spread them out real good. And then just a large spoonful of butter right smack dab in the middle. I'm using a caramel sauce. I'm going to pop that in the microwave for 40 seconds. Now that I've got my caramel sauce good and melted down, I'm going to drizzle that all over the whole thing. I think this is a 12-ounce jar, and I probably don't want to use quite that much. And I've got my oven preheated to 350. And the reason that I told you to use the pear juice is because it's much more flavorful than water, and we're just using some generic instant oatmeal. I've got a plain flavor. Sprinkle that pretty generously over the top. It's going to soak up all of that pear juice, and that'll flavor your oatmeal with that pear. And I also have a spice, or cinnamon spice, I guess. And if you just have plain, you know, you can always sprinkle just some cinnamon sugar over it. It's going to be plenty sweet, so you can probably even just do cinnamon. In the oven at 350 for about 20-25 minutes. You'll know when it's done. You'll see. It'll look just like an apple crisp. We'll come back and put the shrimp in the stir fry, and then we'll plate up and look at our meal.
and now we're going to add our shrimp to our stir fry. I have it in the bowl. It wasn't just a frozen shrimp. We took it out of the package, took the tails off, and rinsed it off really good and then drained it, because you really don't want a lot of excess water from the shrimp to go into your stir fry.
All that for you.
Alright.
Ooh,
And now this has really cooked down and really gotten into the vegetables, but the flavor is just going to be great. So we're going to just add our shrimp to it and just stir that around, and then just give that a couple minutes to kind of absorb a little bit of the flavor and just to heat up, because they are already cooked. So we're just going to do that. Put the lid back on and just give it a couple minutes, and then we'll plate everything up and we'll have a taste of our delicious meal.
Well, we've plated up, and we're just waiting on our crisp. We figured we'd take a taste of our little creation here.
Oh, it smells absolutely wonderful.
It does. I want one of them shrimp pieces with that rice.
Oh, wow.
Zippy. It does have a little zippy bite to it.
That cola just gives it such a tremendous flavor.
Works very well with the Worcester. Well, we'll have you take a look at our Pear Crisp as it comes out of the oven. Have a look at that, and then we'll call it a day and see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good day.